Welcome to Intuitive Flow, hosted by me, Mikaela Filar, intuitive energy healer and mindset mentor. You've landed in the space you need to be to hear the no bullshit truth about how to actually manifest the life that you crave. This is the podcast that's here to shake you awake. It's time to unapologetically step into the woman you came here to be, the one who effortlessly attracts everything she desires. Let's flow. Hi guys, welcome back to Intuitive Flow. I am excited about today's topic because I have an unpopular opinion that I would like to chat with you about. And that is that butterflies in your stomach are not the ultimate green flag. And I feel like we are taught by society, by friends, by family that like, oh, butterflies are a good thing. And if you get them, like it's a green flag. Well, I'm going to flip that idea on its head and I'm going to explain why I feel like they are not actually a green flag. It's actually a red flag. And it's actually your nervous system being dysregulated as fuck. And it's you being over elated and attaching to the potential of this person as opposed to the actual connection and how this person is showing up for you in your life. And of course, I am tying in a personal story of my own where I felt this. I felt butterflies, and this has happened to me like multiple times. Like I've felt butterflies multiple times, and I've also been in relationships that I should never have gotten into because I followed the idea of, oh, I have butterflies. They make me feel X, Y, and Z. And there's a couple things that is, I don't want to say like wrong. It's like there's nothing wrong with it, but like also it's not the best. And I'm going to explain why. So when you are having like these butterfly feelings and you're kind of like they're all you can think about, like the person is all you can think about, and you're getting like really elated and excited about this person. Okay, all of a sudden like all of your energy goes into this person and the dating and the excitement of dating somebody new, and like all of that is great and all. And also, don't you want to like go into a relationship with like a calm central nervous system without any of the chaos, like without any of the spiraling, without any of the, oh my gosh, I hope that they feel the same. Like, don't you want to feel calm, collected, sure of who you are, what you bring to the table, know your worth, know that you are enough simply for being you, knowing that you don't need them to make you feel any type of way in order for you to be happy, fulfilled, successful, insert whatever feeling you think that being in a romantic relationship is going to give you. You want to know that you can give all of those feelings to yourself, and that you already have those feelings in your life right now without that person. So backstory here. Obviously, like I said, I've been in many past relationships that I've gotten myself into because I have fallen in love with the potential that the person has, as opposed to looking at, okay, what is this person actually like? How are they actually showing up in my life for me? And am I actually falling for them and who they are and who they're showing me that they are right now in this present moment? Or am I falling for the potential that this person has? And I feel like a lot of women get trapped in this where they feel like they are, falling for this guy. But are you falling for this guy, or are you falling for the potential that this guy has? Meaning, are you falling for the idea of, oh my gosh, I finally found somebody, he's showing me interest, and now I'm going to, live happily ever after with this person. And the reality of the situation is, because us as women, I know I'm not alone here, but we do this a lot. We daydream about the potential of the person, the potential of the outcome of the situation. And that can sometimes get us into a sticky situation where, when, let's say, months go by, you're still dating this person and things aren't changing, the potential that you had dreamed about in the beginning isn't happening, and things are just not adding up, and you're not getting the outcome that you desired. And what happens then is either you're stuck in a situationship and the man is getting everything that he wants from you, and because you're acting as if you already are his girlfriend, even though there's nothing that's been said, or you are in this really, maybe you do get into the relationship with a person, but then again, they're not living up to the potential that you thought that they had, or that you thought that they would show up and how they would show up for you. And so you end up unhappy and not seeing the reflection for what it was. And then you don't shift it. You break up with that person, and then you go into the next relationship and you might end up doing the same thing. And that's what I want to stop you from doing right fucking now. So we're going to talk about butterflies. So what I mean by butterflies are actually a red flag, not a green flag, is because butterflies are exactly the thing that keep you living in this, oh, well, I feel like, or I hope that, right? Instead of I know and I am sure of this person is who he says that he is, and they're going to live up to the potential because they're showing me right now in the present that they are X, Y, and Z, and that they're going to show up for me and our relationship in this way, that way, and another way, right? However, you want your relationship to look, instead of daydreaming and then them not living up to the potential and the picture that you painted in your own head. And honestly, that's nobody's fault but your own. And so I'm just trying to bring this to light. Maybe you can see where in your life you've done this in your past, or maybe you're doing it right now. And we can stop you from heartbreak in the future because you just snip it in the butt. You realize, oh my gosh, this person is actually not showing up the way that I desire to have a romantic relationship show up for me in my life. And so I am going to end things because I know that I deserve better, right? So in my past, I'm actually going to do my most recent, which before Bryson, I met this guy, and let's call him Steve. Okay, so me and Steve, we dated for, I think it was like 3 months. And when I met Steve, I actually talked to him, and we decided like this wasn't going to, be anything serious. Neither of us were looking for anything really serious. Like I was just getting back into entertaining the idea of being in a romantic relationship. So honestly, I was just living my best single life and dating and being taken out and being spoiled and all the things. And here's the thing about that too, is like when you start a dating situation in that energy of like things are just going to be fun, and then maybe down the line you catch feelings for that person, and then they're like, whoa, what do you mean you caught feelings for me? Like we agreed that this was just going to be fun. But then, the feelings get involved, and then you are finding yourself in this situationship where it feels like you have a boyfriend, but like you don't have a boyfriend. And you're like, what in the heck? Like, what is this? Where are we? Where do we stand? Like, how is he, he's acting like he's my boyfriend, but like all at the same time, he's also like keeping me at arm's length. And that doesn't always feel good. So that's basically what was happening in my situation with the guy who I met before I met Bryson. Was I we had prefaced the relationship based off, or like whatever it was, situation based off of where we were at that time. And then I quickly realized, because I'm constantly up leveling and constantly quantum leaping, that I found that I actually was ready for something very serious. And it was the moment that clicked for me that I then came back to the same relationship and was like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. I communicated with him and told him how, like, where I was at with how things were going. And he was very much so like, I'm not ready to date, or like, I'm not ready to take things to the next level. And like, maybe I will be in a year from now, but like, I don't expect you to wait, which great on his end, right? Great on his end. And also, I had an opportunity there to either, which this was a very proud moment for myself, because a past version of me would have waited and would have been like, oh, like I'm just going to wait for him to be ready and hope that things change. But the new version of me, who had done a lot of inner work, decided, okay, no, I'm going to take what he said seriously. I'm not going to romanticize it. I'm not going to let the butterflies get in the way. And I'm going to end things where they are and stop seeing this person. Now, because I did that, that's another reason that like it quantum leaped me, because I was acting as the person who was looking for something serious, and I wasn't dilly-dallying and wasting my energy on somebody who I knew wasn't like my person. And it was in that moment where I was like, I know that the next person I get into a serious relationship with is going to be like the one, and it ended up being true. So, but that, I mean, the reason that was because I really committed to and devoted myself to what I said I wanted, and wasn't, like I said, wasting my energy in other people who were not meeting me where I was at. So when I first started to see this guy, you guys, was so like over elated about the situation. And this is where I had already been practicing, self love, self image. Like, I was really learning how to like regulate my central nervous system and take things off of a pedestal when it came to anything, because if we get over elated about things, then we put them up on this pedestal, we make it mean something about us, and we are also giving it our power. And the last thing that we want is for a man to hold power over us. And what I mean by that is like when you are constantly getting elated and like dreaming about the potential of a relationship and what this person could be in your life, you are letting yourself, you're giving your power away to this person, because you're allowing yourself to put all of your marbles in one basket. And you guys, putting all of your marbles in one basket is the least magnetic thing. And it also comes off as a little bit needy, because you're almost relying on this person to be something or somebody that they never signed up to be, and they never signed up to achieve in your life, right? And so it was in that moment, in that time, I did get super elated about the potential of this man. And this has happened multiple times in my past, but it was like the first time that I was actually aware that it was happening, and I saw it. And I remember like talking to my other intuitive besties who were like I would talk to them about this person, and they straight up would tell me like, no, Mikaela, like this is straight up a reflection for you, and it's an opportunity for you to like take what you're, learning and put it into practice to be the person that you want to be, so you can create the reality that you are desiring to create for yourself. Remember how reflections are just gifts from our higher self that test us to be like, hey, either your energy is out of alignment and this reflection needs to happen in order for you to shift your energy to be in alignment with the thing that you say that you want, or here is a test for you to prove to yourself that you are ready for the things that you say that you want, right? So that's basically what this person was for me. It was a big fat test. And I always say it was like the last test before like I actually manifested the person who I was meant to be with for the rest of my life, which is obviously Bryson. But it wasn't until I like met Bryson and then dated Bryson and how things were so different. And I told you in my last podcast episode how calm and regulated my central nervous system was, because I was also doing the work behind the scenes to make sure that I stopped daydreaming about the potential of what could be with Bryson and I really just stayed present in my current reality and was making sure that he was who he said that he was, and making sure that his actions were aligning with the words that were coming out of his mouth. Because a lot of times what happens in dating is like men will tell us what we want to hear, and then their actions will actually show us a different thing. And here's the thing with men, their words don't mean shit. It's their actions that really do mean the most. Because how many times, you guys, how many times in your life have you dated a guy or been with a man who was saying that they were going to change or saying that they were going to do X, Y, and Z, and then never actually took that action to change the things that they said that they were going to change and be the person that they said they were going to be? Multiple times for me. I don't know about you, but definitely for me. So when I started doing the inner work, when I started to like put what I was learning into practice when it came to dating, I really did realize that like the butterflies weren't actually like a green flag. They were a warning sign. It was a warning sign because one, it's you getting elated, you putting this person up on a pedestal, you daydreaming about the potential that this person has, and you allowing them to essentially, because when you're giving this power and like to them, you're giving your power away because you're getting all elated about the potential. And so they have the power to take that away from you, right? And that's a scary place to be at. And it dysregulates your central nervous system. And that's what the butterflies are. So what I mean by this is like when we're over elated about a situation or the potential of this person, and how we give them our power is because we're not regulated ourselves and we're not seeing how anything that they are actually giving us, the only reason that they're even showing us these things is because we gave it to ourselves first. Period. End of story. Like the only reason you're an energetic match for a person to treat you the way that they treat you, good or bad, is because you are being that way toward yourself. Therefore, you are in the frequency of attracting a person into your life to treat you that same exact way. So, spiraling and getting over elated are signs that your body is chasing these highs instead of like this grounded safety. And when you're hooked on the idea of somebody, you're falling for the potential and not the actual like present moment and how they're actually showing up for you. And in contrast, the true, like a true healthy connection, and this is how I felt with Bryson when I started dating him. It just feels so calm and steady and safe and exciting without all of the chaos and the like, oh my gosh, like how do they feel about me? And do they feel the same? And how am I acting? You're staying up till 2 a.m., like wondering how, like what this meant. And I remember this person, Steve, he used to like send me songs that would like really, like have lyrics in them that made it seem like he was in like, and there was so much like hot and cold with this person, which was a reflection, like this whole situation was like so many reflections in this one person. But for me, and like reflections when I like I had to heal and had to shift in order to become an energetic match for Bryson when I met Bryson. But when I was in it, when I was in it with this person, and he would be like, 1 second he would be like all in, wanting to hang out all the time, wanting to see me, wanting to like he wanted me to meet his mom, and I was like included in all of the things that he did with his friends, and I met all of his friends, and it felt very relationship like. So I don't know why he was surprised when I was like, where is this going? Like, I know that this doesn't like, you don't have a situationship and then introduce the situationship with your mom. Like, that's just not something that you do. So after that all started to happen, and started to get included and started to feel more like a girlfriend and started to feel like we were in a relationship, that's when I started to ask these questions of like, okay, like, what is this turning into, or is this turning into anything? In hindsight, there was so many other red flags other than butterflies with this person, because I mean, number one being like he had a dog, and I would always go out of my way to babysit the dog when needed, or take the dog out, or be there when this person needed me, because that's just the type of person that I am, especially when it comes to dating. And I wasn't like dating multiple people, I was just dating him for these like 3 months. So I mean, it just started to feel very relationship like. And I was like giving so much of my energy, and I was acting as if I was this person's girlfriend without him having to commit. Okay. And he chose not to commit. And like I said in the beginning of this, like told me, very straightforward with where he was at. And I took that and I said, okay, great. Then like I can't do this anymore, because I realized that I was putting myself in like a bad position where he had all the power, he had the upper hand. And that's not what you want. You don't want anyone in your relationship to feel like they have the upper hand. Like everything needs to be neutral and balanced. There needs to be a sense of secure calmness, like steady, safe, no chaos, no like, oh, what if, or how does this person feel, or am I doing this right, or what did this mean, what did this song mean that he sent me? Right? Like there needs to be none of that. It needs to just be sure and true and honest, and you guys are on the same page, and there needs to be communication, and just a calm, regulated central nervous system. So I'm going to get into the 4 shifts that really changed everything for me, that I learned from all of the work that I did on myself before meeting this person, and then especially being able to practice it while being in this situationship. We won't call it a relationship because it wasn't, but in the situationship. And also how different it was when I met Bryson. So the number one shift was I regulated my nervous system. So I centered myself before and after dates. So this didn't really happen as soon as I met this person, obviously, or I wouldn't have had him up on a pedestal. But like I remember there was a specific date that I went on with this person, and he was doing all of the right things, and was like, hey, I'm going to pick you up at 6, or I made reservations at this place, dress like this. And that's like the dream, right? That was the dream. That was what I wanted. And that's what I was an energetic match for, because I was giving that to myself as well. And I was very elated. There was no like calming myself from this. I was just like, this, like, he's really putting in a lot of effort here. This isn't no long, this is no, like, it was never really like, oh, I'm just going to come over and hang out. Like, it was always like, he was a gentleman, and he always like was putting in effort. So of course, signals are going to be like mixed up, and I'm going to get confused. And honestly, he voiced to me like he was confused too. And he was like hot and cold, and he didn't know really what he wanted to do. And even after I did call it off and like told him I didn't want to see him anymore, he did reach out to me afterwards, after I like completely, which this happens after you do I have a cord cutting energy work that I do, where I sever the energetic ties between me and the person specifically. And I take back all of my energy, I get back all of their energy. And what that does is they energetically, like subconsciously feel that. They feel you taking back your energy. And then what happens is they like think about you, and then they think about how they miss you, and how they want to get back and like see you and get your energy back, because they're feeling like something is missing. They can't quite pin exactly why, but that was why. So it was literally like a week after I had cut the cords. I did like a fuck you letter, which if you've worked with me before, you definitely know what a fuck you letter is. It's a letter where you just sever the fucking tie. You write out all of like how they made you feel, and if they did you wrong, like you just write it all out on paper, and then you crumple it up, you throw it away, or you burn it, you get it out of your energy, and you just let it all go, and you just decide, I'm going to leave the past in the past, and I'm moving forward now. Okay. So I had done that, and then a week later, he friggin' comes back into my life and sends me a text and is like, hey, like, do you want to get together? Blah, blah, blah. I know that, you said this, but like, I was wondering, we could just have fun. And I was just like, no, like, that's not what I want. I made it very clear to you. Like, I'd really appreciate it if you stopped texting me. I deleted his number, and honestly haven't heard from him since. So yay. But when it comes to like this shift that I made when I started to like date Bryson, I was like, okay, I'm going to take what I learned from my past situation and like definitely not bring that into this new thing that I have. So before and after I would see Bryson, or like he would take me out on a date, I would get centered and I would be like, okay, what am I really excited about? And how do I feel like this like person, Bryson, is going to make me feel? And then how do I already have these feelings within myself? And just taking, deep breaths and really realizing and coming home to the fact that like I do not need this to work out. Like I stopped getting over elated. I stopped um putting it on the pedestal and giving it my power of like, when I say it, I mean like the date and like the outcome of the date and the outcome of like where things were going with Bryson. And I really just like got so neutral about it to where I didn't seem needy, and I wasn't needy because I had calmed my central nervous system and I stopped attaching like the date to a specific outcome I wanted. I truly was just there in the present moment, taking it one step at a time and not putting all of my marbles in this basket because I was like, or putting all my eggs in the basket because I was like, I've got the eggs. Like, I've got the eggs here, and they are also in this basket over here. When it comes to like my fitness and health, and I put my eggs in this basket when it comes to passion and hobby and life. And I also know that there are plenty of fish in the sea. And if it doesn't work out with this person, then that's fine. Like, I'm totally good with being single, and eventually I'm going to meet my person. I just know it. I feel it in my bones. Okay. So, no, when I met Bryson, I wasn't like, oh my God, this is the one, because I didn't want to give my power away like that. Like, I didn't want to, again, give, like, let butterflies take over my whole body and put all of my eggs in this basket and daydream about the potential that this person had, like so many of us do and probably have done in our past. So the number one shift here is regulate your central nervous system, like before and after dates. Like after the date, reflect on it. What did you like? What did you not like? And then coming back to yourself, doing something for yourself. And that really, again, just shows your higher self, universe, God, source, whatever you pray to, that you don't need anything outside of yourself to feel any type of way. And you're not going to make anything mean anything about you. And you're not going to put this situation, this date, this guy up on a pedestal. You're going to get really neutral and feel calm about how everything is and be okay with the outcome no matter what, because you've got you. And there's a sticky situation there of like the you got you part. We don't want to ever be like hyper independent, because when you're hyper independent, that's also you being very much so in your masculine energy, which I'm going to talk a little bit about, like masculine and feminine energy. That's one of my shifts. That's number 4. But when it comes to being hyper independent, like you're sending a huge sign in the universe that like you don't need anyone and you've got it, and you don't need no man. And that's not the case, because it's like, yes, you've got you, and also having a man is a big plus, right? So, or having a significant other, having somebody to share life with is a big plus, because it is, period. Okay. I want to take a quick break in today's podcast episode to share something that I've been working on just for you ladies. We are officially done with the era of being the almost girl. You know what I mean? Almost chosen, almost committed to, almost good enough. And if that hits a nerve, good, because I've been there too, and I know how exhausting it could be. So here's the deal. I'm hosting a free masterclass called The Devotion Code. This is 5 shifts to manifest and keep your dream man. No sugarcoating or manifestation fluff here. I'm showing you the exact shifts that pulled me out of situationships and cycles with men who wouldn't commit, and into a relationship where I am fully chosen, adored, and engaged to my dream man. You're going to see why you've been stuck in the same patterns, how to finally break them for good, and what it actually takes to embody the woman who gets everything she wants in love and in life. This masterclass is for the woman who is tired of men who won't commit or keep her guessing. She knows she's meant to be pursued, adored, and fully chosen. She wants a love that lasts, not just butterflies for a season, craves the confidence, magnetism, and the security of being the one, and is ready to finally stop settling and step into her devoted woman energy. Inside of this class, You will learn the 5 shifts that take you from almost girl to fully chosen woman. You'll see why you keep attracting unavailable men and exactly how to stop the cycle. Unlock the energetics of being pursued, adored, and chosen without chasing. Experience a higher self activation that anchors your chosen energy and helps you step into your higher self. Leave with journal prompts and practices to embody your dream woman identity immediately. Your dream man is out there, but attracting him and keeping him requires a different version of you. The woman who no longer chases, the woman who no longer settles, the woman who knows she is the one. That's the version you will meet inside of the devotion code. This is your sign to stop being the almost girl and start being the one. Go grab your spot now. The link is waiting for you in the show notes below. If you want a lasting love, you cannot afford to sit this one out. Let's get back into today's episode. So, number 2 is seeing the signs for what they actually are. So, when I say signs, I mean reflections. So, when somebody is dating is going to be like you are going to get reflections in the people that you date. Like they are your biggest mirror. And it's when you get triggered by a person that you're dating, it's such a beautiful opportunity for you to look inwards. And I think a lot of times what happens, especially in today's world, is that the person does one thing wrong and you tell your bestie about it, or your friend or your mom or your brother or your sister or whatever about it, and then they're like, oh my gosh, like, no, you need to just dump his ass, when that's not always the case. Like, reflections will pop up in your relationship, and if you do not shift and heal the reflection and see the sign for what it actually is, then and you do dump the person, then you go and you date the next person, or you get into a relationship with the next person, you're going to experience the same shit in that next person because you never healed the reflection and got to the root cause of why the thing is happening. So I'm going to give you 2 examples of reflections that I've seen in my, like, the guy who I dated before Bryson, and then obviously Bryson. So, reflections pop up all the time. And one of like the main things when it comes to creating and sustaining a relationship is being able to see the reflections and see the person as a mirror, and then being able to work through that reflection on your own and get to the root cause and shift and heal so that you can stop experiencing the same reflection over and over again. And by doing that, you're actually going to shift the way that the other person treats you. So an example of this would be when I started to date Steve and I started to feel, the feelings. I was like, okay, I have an opportunity here to either do what I said, like be the person who I said that I wanted to be by not sticking around and like waiting for him to be ready to like date me and take things seriously, even though it already felt very, very serious. Like I said, like met his mom, met his family, like met all of his friends. Like we hung out every weekend, sometimes during the week too. So things felt serious, but and he was acting like my boyfriend, but he wasn't actually my boyfriend. He wasn't committing to me. And that there was a big reflection because it meant that because I felt like he wasn't committing to me. And because I felt like he was being somebody who wasn't like ready to commit, that means that somewhere in my life, I wasn't ready to commit, or I wasn't committing to things that I said that I would do. And so he reflected that back to me. So that was like one reflection. And then another reflection was like an opportunity, like the test, like I said, from my higher self, where he gave me the opportunity to either stick around and wait for him to be ready and keep doing whatever the fuck it is that we were doing in this situationship that I found myself in, or be the person who I said that I was going to be, cut things off immediately, stop seeing this person because it no longer aligned with like the reality that I desired to create for myself. So those were 2 reflections in that dating situation. Now, fast way forward to literally like Bryson and I dating. And this was like, if this was like last year, I remember this specific reflection, which there has been so many reflections, but because when you are in a relationship with your soul complement, like you're going to get a lot of reflections and they're going to constantly like show you where your energy is out of alignment, especially if you are a soul who is here to like level the fuck up in soul points, as they like to say, to create like this reality that you know that you are meant to have and that is a part of your soul contract. It's just this massive like expedited way of being able to level up constantly. But this specific reflection that I'm remembering is when it was like 2020, it was like kind of it was like last like in within the last year. I felt like we went into this like phase where he kind of stopped dating me and stopped like prioritizing our dates. Now, the reflection there is I was feeling like he wasn't prioritizing me. So therefore, I wasn't prioritizing myself. And that I saw with the reflection for what it was. So instead of getting mad at him for not prioritizing our dates, I didn't say shit to him. I just decided I've been really wanting to country line dance. So I found a place that was holding a country line dancing party and I went to it and I country line danced. I took myself out to country line dancing and I took myself out to dinner that night. And this was like, and I still do this type of stuff all the time because that's how you continue to hold the energy of, you know, getting the things that you want and being prioritized in a relationship is you've got to continuously prioritize yourself. You can't just like stop doing the work once you get into the relationship, then the relationship isn't going to last the way that you want it to last. And so what was happening is that I had been slacking in the passion hobby area of life. I had been not prioritizing that area. So I decided to go to this country line dancing situation, take myself out to dinner. I had so much fun. I came home around, I don't know, like 11 that night after the line dancing party situation was over. And when I got home, it was like a switch flip. Like I didn't say anything. The next day, he planned a date for the weekend where we went axe throwing and we went to dinner and it was like a super cute night. And then like that next morning, I woke up and there was like a just because present and he had gotten me these like UGG slippers that I had on my wish list for like a really long time, just because. And I know that that was because I had put myself first, prioritized myself, and leveled up the passion hobby area of my life that was lacking. And I'm going to get into detail of this inside of my free masterclass. That's this Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're interested, if this is like interesting you, definitely make sure you sign up for that. But so these are just examples of reflections. And if you can't see the reflection, like if you're constantly getting reflections in your life, in your relationship, especially that, and then you're just like not seeing the signs for what they are, then you are going to find yourself like not shifting them, and you're going to find yourself consistently getting these reflections and then building resentment or getting mad at people when really it's something within your energy that all you need to do is shift. When you see the reflections for what they are and you're able to shift them and heal them within yourself, you will literally change your electromagnetic field that sends out the script to people of how they treat you. And so in turn, you don't have to have any type of like conversation like, hey, I don't really feel like you're prioritizing our dates. It's just you start to prioritize yourself. Therefore, you have it written in your creator field that that other people prioritize you. You have it written in your creator field that you prioritize yourself. Therefore, other people are going to prioritize you. Okay. So that's just a couple of examples of reflections and the importance of knowing what reflections are and seeing the signs for what they are when they do show up so that you can shift and heal them on your own, therefore changing the script written in your electromagnetic field and changing the script of how other people treat you because you treat yourself the way you desire to be treated. Okay, number 3, the third shift is not putting all of your energy when it comes to like dating, not putting all of your energy into that person and not putting all of your energy into that basket. What I mean by this is how many times, I cannot be the only one, have you gotten into a relationship or started dating somebody new and then completely lost yourself and just allowed like this relationship to over like consume you, right? When we do that, we are immediately, one, again, putting it up on a pedestal, getting over elated and giving it our power. And we don't ever want to give somebody our power like that. We always want to come at everything from a neutral and balanced place and see the neutrality in it and balance ourselves out so that we're not in this like fight or flight, and our mood or how we are acting or how we are being isn't dependent on how the other person is treating us, right? How many times have you gotten into a situation with somebody or a relationship with somebody and then like completely like all of a sudden you're just consumed by this person and this relationship and the potential, and when are they going to text me back and when are we going to hang out next? And I get it, it's exciting, being in a relationship and a new dating and dating somebody new is exciting. And also, if you are in that energy and putting all of your eggs into that basket and you don't have, an egg in your passion hobby area of life, an egg in your financial area of life, an egg in your vocation area of life, then what happens is you are in this like energy of I need this. Like I need this in order to feel this. I need him to text me in order to feel special. I need him to take me out on a date in order for me to feel loved. I need him to whatever it is, insert I need X in order to feel Y. Not good. Not good. We want to make sure that we are giving ourselves all of the things that we desire from that person and all of the feelings that we think that having the thing is going to make us feel ourselves, to ourselves, not relying on that person to make us feel X, Y, or Z solely to only they can make us feel that way. We've got to be giving all of those feelings to ourselves and be coming at this from a neutral and balanced place. Because if we don't, then we're in this state of need, and neediness is the opposite of magnetism. You're actually going to come off as needy and then repel what it is that you're desiring. If you're desiring to get taken out on dates, if you're desiring to be prioritized and you're not doing those things for yourself, then and you're only expecting this one person to do those things for you, that's putting a lot of pressure on this person, and they're going to feel that needy energy. They're not going to be able to like consciously know exactly what it is, but they're going to kind of keep you at arm's length, and it's not going to feel good for you because you're in the state of like, I need it. And I've given you guys the analogy of like the rubber band theory, when you've got the rubber band between your two fingers, and if there always has to be a healthy amount of tension between this band, if one person is going, towards the other person, there is a bunch of slack in between that band, and there can't be. So that other person is naturally going to gravitate the opposite fucking direction away from you because you are in this energy of need. And what happens is they feel that coming off of you and they're like, oh no, like this is too much, or, I'm not ready for this. And that's where you kind of, end up getting hurt. So we don't want to get hurt. That's why we always just want to make sure that we are in this state of like confidence and in this reassurance of ourselves that like we give ourselves the things that we want from another person, and we don't need that person to fulfill that because we already give it to ourselves. My last shift is balancing like the masculine and feminine energy. If you don't know this, we all have a masculine and feminine side. The masculine side is our right side of our body. The feminine side is our left side of our body. And I always remember that because and this is just a funny thing that I say, but like men always have to be right. That's how I remember that the right side of our body is always the masculine side. So with that being said, we all have masculine and feminine energy between us. And it's important to have that masculine and feminine energy within yourself as your own individual, like when you're alone, when you're your own person, to have that energy balanced out. Because if you're too far in one or too far in the other, it's not healthy. You're not going to manifest things as easily, and things aren't going to flow, or things aren't going to flow as easily as you want them to. So when it comes to dating and being in a romantic relationship, and you are the woman in the relationship, you want to make sure that you are leaving space for the man to lead, to court you or pursue you, and to invest their time, energy into you, into the relationship, and into whatever you guys are creating with each other. And what I mean by this is like literally like leaving space. So like don't take all the marbles. Don't just do all the things for the person. Like they need to earn the right to have access to your energy, and that's just period, end of story. And if you are giving them all of the things that they want without them having to do anything in return, then I mean, that's great for them. But like for you, you're going to end up draining, you're going to end up drained, you're going to end up resentful eventually. Like if you're just constantly doing all of the things for them and they're not doing anything for you. So they have to earn the right to access your energy like that. But if you are constantly in your masculine energy and doing all of the things without anything in return, and you're not balanced and you're not leaving space for the masculine to lead, then you're taking marbles away from him. And how I see this show up in relationships is basically the woman is the one that is doing all of the things because they feel like if they don't do it, it's not going to get done, or if they don't do it, it's not going to be done as good as it would be done if somebody else was, or if their significant other was to do it for them. And what happens here is, again, you end up burning yourself out. It builds resentment between you two, and it's just no bueno. So we want to shift this, and we want to make sure that we're giving them space to lead, and we are giving them space to show up for you and to earn that right to your energy when it comes to how you like the dynamic of your relationship and how you guys uh show up for one another. Okay. And an example of this is like, if you want the man to lead, then he is the one typically planning the dates. He is the one making the reservations. He's the one opening the doors for you. And if you are even just the simplest little things, like if you aren't leaving them the space to open the door for you, and you're just like running to the door and like opening it yourself, and you're not leaving that space, like energetically, that's you just taking a marble away. So ask yourself, where are you taking too many of the marbles? And can you give some of those marbles back and allow your man to step up and lead? And honestly, if you just leave the space for him to do that and give him the opportunity, instead of just being like, oh, I've got it, no problem, like in that hyper independent masculine energy, then he will energetically feel that subconsciously and then start to show up without you having to say a word, because you are just leaving the space for him to show up the way that men are actually literally designed to show up for a woman. Like men want to show up, they want to do the things, they want to take the action. They're literally made for that. It's engraved in their DNA, where they want to provide and be that masculine man. It's what makes them feel good. So if you want to make your significant other feel good in your relationship, give them the space to lead and to provide and to show up for you the way that you actually desire them to show up for you, so that you can lean back and stay in your feminine energy. All right. But when it comes to like just you as an individual, yes, you have that, the energy shifts, and then you have both the masculine and the feminine. But then when you're in the relationship, when you're with your person, that leaving that space for them to be in their masculine and then you get to be in your feminine, that's like the best. And I will go into that like more in depth of like how inside of the devotion code. So when it comes to like tying all of this together, like the whole butterflies thing and getting over elated and putting the idea of this person up on this pedestal, like you just take your power back, like get rid of those butterflies. When you start to feel butterflies, see them for like, see the sign for what it is and regulate your central nervous system. Start to maybe create a T chart, and we can call this the ick and the awe list, where on one side you write down like all of the things that you don't love about this person, and then all of the things that you do love about this person, so that you can get neutral about this person and they no longer hold the power over you. Because when they hold power over you, you're in like, you're, like I said, you're needy energy, and we don't ever want to be in our needy energy, because that's going to make you the opposite of magnetic. And we want to be the magnetic. We want to have this solid neutral ground where it doesn't matter what happens. You're trusting that whatever is meant to happen will happen, and that this person will show up for you the way that you desire to be shown up for in a romantic relationship. So the secret side effect to all of these shifts is by becoming calm and grounded, you become more magnetic. When you don't overgive and you stay in your own lane and you give them like the equal amount of energy that they are giving you, then you are never going to be in your needy energy, and you're not going to be the opposite of magnetic, which is needy. And you're always going to feel like they are chasing you, which a man wants to chase you. Like that's literally what they want. They want the chase. They want the excitement of like not, of knowing that like they're yours or you're theirs, both. But, and also they want that like excitement of like, what do I have to do to get her to really want me and to want to be with me, right? Like we want them chasing us, not the opposite. Okay. So when you're not overgiving and you are like good on your own, and you know that you don't need them in order to feel X, Y, and Z, then you are going to essentially have the upper hand, and you're not going to be the one that's doing the chasing. They're going to be chasing you. And I don't know about you, but I would way rather be the one that's being chased as opposed to the one that is constantly chasing the other person. So grounded energy creates that respect, it creates that desire, and it creates that long lasting attraction. And if you are tired of the butterflies and the heartbreak, and you're ready to become the woman who is pursued, adored, and fully devoted to, you are going to want to sign up for the devotion code, where I'm going to be sharing the 5 shifts to manifest and keep your dream man. I have been giving so many shifts lately inside of this episode. And then if you haven't listened to the other episode that I released last week, you definitely want to do that before you are inside of the devotion code, because if you don't listen to those 2 episodes, you're not going to understand what I'm talking about inside of the devotion code. So it's free. It's happening live. It's this Friday, October 10th at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go save your seat right now. The link is in the show notes below. And just remember that butterflies fade, but devotion lasts. So choose calm, choose clarity, and choose yourself. Join me inside of the devotion code, and let's start to build the love that you deserve. Thanks so much for tuning in to today's episode of Intuitive Flow with Mikaela Filar. If this lit something up inside of you, make sure you hit that follow button so you never miss another episode. We have new episodes coming out every week. If you love what you heard, drop a 5-star rating and review or share it with a family member or friend so that this podcast can grow and help more women rise. For more on self-love, self-image, intuition, and manifestation, come hang out with me on Instagram or TikTok at Mikaela Filar. The links are all in the show notes below. And as always, we will chat soon.